So previous video maybe zan yi joining din shi kamar yadda na ce. We were able to mun yi running shi postgres din namu akan Docker. Amma abinda na manta akwai wani setting da ya kamata a ce mun sa lokacin da za mu yi starting. Idan muka je where you will see explanation na setting din, in ka je Docker Hub muka je wurin postgres din inda muka yi downloading, wato mu sa postgres, mu sa search, idan ya fito sai mu clicking din shi. Akwai information, kun san na ce a rika karanta information din, so a information din za su gaya ma, ga yanan na yi clicking, za su gaya ma if you're going to start the container ko how to use it, how to use shi image din na postgres din. So information on it, okay, how to use. So a wajen running Docker shi container din, we're supposed to give it wani environment variable. Da ban so na yi mana using environment variable, but then it's a bit mun fara shiga a bit, shall I say, advanced in a way. But the thing is, she Postgres database management system din, when you run it automatically yana da wani username. Kuma username din ko in ce yana da kaman password. I don't think in yana zuwa da username, don ban gani a nan ba. Wannan sunan container ne, name some Postgres. Wannan sunan container ne suka bada, sai wannan Postgres password shine password na shi daga nan zuwa nan, my secret password shine password na shi default Postgres database management system. Now it doesn't mean dole sai wannan my secret password din. Amfanin how to use din nan kenan, wannan information din da suke baka, whatever you set as environment variable din nan, Postgres password din nan, automatically that becomes the password na shi database management system din. I don't know if that makes sense. An gane? So usually yanda environment variables suke, they are just like kamar a programming. Kun san za mu iya creating variable a programming. The only thing is that an environment variable can only be a string variable. An gane? String in the sense that characters ne. So kamar yanzu wannan Postgres underscore in capital letters, Postgres underscore password shine variable name din. Now value din variable name din shine wannan my secret password din da suka rubuta a nan. Now you can change my secret password to whatever you want a lokacin da za ka yi running container. We'll do it now mu gani, because the reason this is very important is because idan ka zo login into shi database management system din, dole you need that password. An gane? Even though in ka riga kai login in, za ka iya creating other users that can still log in, but initially the first password ko first account din that can log in requires wannan password din. An gane ba? So in kun tuna sanda muka yi starting shi Postgres container din a Docker din mu, na manta ba mu sa wannan environment variable din ba. An gane? So we need to do that. Abinda zan yi, I'll just copy this shi asalin environment variable name din, Postgres underscore password, duka in capital letters. Shi za mu setting. So na yi Control C, na yi copying. We'll go back to our container. Idan muka je, okay, so muka buɗe Docker, mu je containers. Kun ga wannan container already na yi stopping nashi. Maybe naku is already running. Za ku ga it will be probably showing a stop sign a nan tunda is running. So you need to stop it. Za ku yi clicking stop sign din ya stopping. Sannan our advice kawai kai deleting din shi. Delete that container. An gane? Because you won't be able to actually log into that particular container. So we'll just delete that. Mu ce delete for it. Remember, container nake deleting ba image ba. Make sure container kake deleting. So zan sa delete forever, shikenan container ya tafi. We'll just repeat the steps. Sai ku koma images, ga shi Postgres image din. Sai mu ƙara repeating wannan step din na creating na starting container. Mu sa click play, sai mu setting wannan options din, Postgres sunan da muka bashi ɗazu underscore container. By the way, you cannot have two Docker containers with the same name. An gane ba? So in naka da Postgres container ne kuma still is existing, kana so kai creating wani without deleting wannan, sai dai ka kira shi wani suna daban ko Postgres 1, Postgres 2, an gane? So, but because na riga na yi deleting wancan, so it's okay, we can call it Postgres container again. Say port 5432 shine default port na Postgres. Say okay, I think that's all. Say environment variable, kun tuna abinda na kwafo, so zan rubuta shi a nan. Postgres capital POSTGRES underscore password. Sai nan value din whatever I provide a nan shine zai zama password dina. An gane? So this is what I'll put, $$WORD. This will be the password. Wannan password din idan na zo login in da wannan zan yi login in into shi Postgres database din. I hope an gane. So I'll click run. This should start the container. I think it's running now, ba? Yeah, I think it's running. We can check. Za mu iya duba Visual Studio mu gani to confirm. Muka zo wajen containers, container, no item found. I don't know why. Maybe sai me restarting, closing, sa clicking shi, muje nan containers is there? Yes, gashi nan, it's running. So Postgres up less than a minute. Okay, it's running. In kuka ga wannan play din haka, green play button din nan means it is running. An gane? Another way zaka san yana running in ka zo containers ɗinka. Da wani minimizing wannan. In ka zo nan images ne. In ka zo containers, kun gani Postgres container. Kun gani wajen actions zaka ga stop action ne kake da ba play action ba. An gane? Sannan another good thing about Docker, look at ku ga how much percentage of CPU na yake ci, 0.04%. So it's very very light. Be hogging resources. An gane ba? So anyway, this is the thing we need for starting our container correctly. The next thing still, kafin me ending wannan video na ce I'm going to show us yanda za mu connecting DBeaver to shi database so that we will be able to have a graphical user interface, because without DBeaver in ka ce za ka yi accessing database din na yanzu sai dai kai ta using command prompt, kuma banda haka ma you still need to download shi Postgres ina jin suna ce mai PSQL CLI, wani command line interface na shi Postgres din. You still need to download it, although it's very light. Za ka yi downloading din shi sannan kai login in ta DOS da ko ta PowerShell. An gane? So you'll be using codes to access it, which is to me is just impractical. An gane? Especially for beginners, it doesn't make sense. Ko ma ba beginner, but it doesn't make sense kaje kana accessing database the characters like the SQL query da an gane. It's much easier an kana da GUI that helps you. Ma za ka yi SQL query din ne, akwai inda zai baka chance da za ka rubuta SQL query ɗinka. So that is it. Yanzu this is running. We'll open DBeaver. Zan je ina DBeaver din. I think we've installed it ba. Oh yeah, na tuna zipped version muka installing, so portable version ne. Za mu nemo inda muka sa shi. Zan iya tuna inda, bari in ga in zan iya tuna inda na ajiye shi. I think installed programs ne ba? Yes, nan ne. So gashi nan sai in buɗe DBeaver. Probably ya kamata in pinning din shi a nan taskbar so that whenever I need it, I can just click on it. You no longer need to import scripts one by one into the SQL editor. The import SQL script option in DBeaver allows you to select multiple files simultaneously. Okay. Wannan kawai yana bani tips ne. Close. So good. Yanzu mun buɗe DBeaver. The next thing, connecting to database din. To connect to database, mun riga mun san some of the things, all the things we need to connect to that database. Number one, idan muka zo okay, you come here wajen wannan kaman socket da plus sign din nan, zaka gaya mishi wani irin database kake so kai connecting to. You can see there are so many different database management systems that you can connect to. Akwai MySQL, akwai MariaDB, shine nake cewa version na MySQL that is free and open source. Wanda da na ce we could have used. Akwai Oracle, akwai duk dai gasu nan. In ba wanda kake so ka using baya cikin nan, zaka iya clicking other ka nemo, ka gani there are more. So what we are using is postgres, gashi nan shine wannan. So na yi clicking din shi sai ya bani kun ga kaman GUI da where I will put all the information. So already kun ga some of this information ma duka ya ma yi mun populating, which is correct. First, the host name is localhost saboda ina running din shi akan the same system ne. An gane, so I'll put localhost, which is correct. Default port na shi PostgreSQL na gaya muku 5432 ne. Inda a ce na canza default port din a can wajen inda muka creating container, then I'll have to put the correct port a nan. But because mun sa correct port, no need to change that. Say database name, I think Postgres ne sunan database din ba? Yeah, I hope I think so. Sunan database din should be Postgres. Say authentication, PG pass native, ban san, let's try native din mu gani. Say username Postgres, password zamu using wannan $$WORD. An gane? Say mu gani connection din anya ba Postgres PG pass bane? No, ba shi bane. I think it should be native. So $$WORD. Okay, so say what else? Driver settings. I don't think okay, idan ba mu da driver zai gaya mana we need to download, kuma zai mana downloading automatically. So we can test connection ma tukuna kafin mu ce finish. Mu ce test connection. So you can see automatically ya ce mana you are about to download files for Postgres SQL standard driver. An gane? So go ahead ka sa download. Zai downloading the driver that needs to you need, akwai driver that you need for it to be able to connect. You only do this once. Saboda this is the first time muke connecting to a Postgres database. Shi yasa yake ba mu wannan. So you need to be connected to internet for it to do this download. So ga yana yi, when it's done zai gaya mana. So just wait, it doesn't take much time. So connected, meaning password ɗinmu ya yi aiki kenan. So I'll go ahead and say okay, in ce finish. Kuma notice na ce na yi ticking save password, so zai mun kaman automatically zai storing password ɗin within shi locally, within shi DBeaver GUI ɗin. So finish. So a haka yanzu we are connected. So kun ga na zo na yi clicking wannan ba, haka ya shiga. In fact, the moment kaga wannan green din, I don't know if there's a way I can increase view din nan. Ba shi kawai. There's a little green banda elephant symbol din, akwai wani dan green tick a nan wurin. Shine yake gaya ma cewa it is connected to shi wannan database din. So a cikin database din kuma, the way database yake, it's divided into smaller yanzu shi database management system din nan shine wannan. An gane? Sannan a cikin shi you can have smaller databases. So the only though if you like you can have only one database da ke rike ma komai da komai, but most likely yanda division din comes around is for every common project da kake yi, it's probably a good idea kowane project ka bashi a separate database nashi. An gane? That is wannan database din, mini databases din da zaka iya creating. An gane? So akwai Postgres database, in ka shiga schemas zaka gani akwai wannan public, this is like a table, ga tables din. Okay, babu table a ciki ina jin. Okay, meaning there is no babu wani table a cikin database din. An gane? So we will need to create table na information. Okay, a table can be just a collection of related information. For example, zaka iya samun table na okay, exactly. Let's take for example abinda muke so mu achieving. In fact, the whole reason why muke needing database din nan. In kun tuna wannan din da muka yi shi project din da muke yi na wancan teams din na football team da muna so muka ce muna so only coach din will be allowed to change ko to select players din that are going to play for a particular match. An gane? Only him will be allowed. Now, for him to be allowed to play, we'll have to know idan shi ne yayi visiting website ɗinmu. Now, how do we know that? We need to keep some kind of information na ko record na registered users akan website ɗinmu. An gane? So, za mu iya cewa, okay, for a coach, for other people ba dole sai sun yi registering ba. But for coach who has access rights, ya iya changing, he has to give us some of his information. So, za mu iya keeping, mu ce za mu ajiye wani table where we will have the name of the person. An gane? Maybe first name, last name, say probably mu ce what else? First name, last name, status. It could be status ya zan ce level. An gane wannan status ɗin ko level shi zai gaya mana wani irin access rights yake da. So for example, idan shine coach, za mu iya cewa a cikin status akwai coach ko player ko an gane something like that. So idan status ɗin shi coach ne, we allow him to have those access. I don't know if abin da nake cewa makes sense, but just for you to know is that a table is just a collection of information that are somehow related na mutum ɗaya ko ba sai lalle mutum ba. It could be anything. It could be any type of class na abu. So this is all we need to know about. By the time you are able to access all these things, it means you have successfully connected DBeaver ɗinka to database, to Postgres database ɗinka. And idan muka fara, which in the next after wannan section this is our last section ko last video na tutorials inda muke na introduction to programming. Everything da zamu rika yi yanzu daga gaba will be classified sort of intermediate web-based development programming ne. An gane? So mun wuce level in beginners from next one and then. So with this, you are up and ready. Zan yi closing din shi. You are up and ready to start development, web-based, full stack web-based development. Should I say Windows? Nothing the Windows kuke using. But like I said, most likely from the next video, I'll be using Linux. But the same tools I'm going to have, probably DBeaver now to be able to connect to my database. I will have Docker. I will have what else? Visual Studio Code. So the same set of abubuwa muke using, there won't be much difference. So this is the end of one tutorial.